Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Garden Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. I was playing around the other day. I got a new hardcover book and just one from a book fair, a couple of bucks, and I was gutting it. Beautiful journal size, and look at the plates. Okay, so beautiful book, but as I said, I was gutting it to use these up, just sitting that there, and thought, yeah, I love these, I'll use them in journals, but I'm not going to use all of them just as signatures and bits and pieces. So I was playing around with what else I could do with this. So I've come up with an idea and I just want to show you. So yes, it's one of these pages, and it's been done heaps of times and all the rest, but there's a few things in there I want to show you. And this can either go into a pocket if you've got a larger journal. If you've got a smaller journal, like a lot of mine tend to be, I've done this so that it can become part of your signature. So here's your signature, and it would actually get sewn in like so. Okay, so I just want to run you through it really quickly, show you a few tips and tricks along the way, but we'll use this one for now. And I'm just going to tear this bit off because we only need a single page for this, because it is a fairly large book. Now, the measurements for this one, for this book, they were, 10 inches by nearly 7.5. So they were a fairly decent size. So what I did do was I trimmed off the top piece because I didn't want it too large, and at the original time I thought I was going to use the book plate, as in the picture. That was my original plan with this. When I first started playing around with it, I was just sitting here. Husband was working in the office behind me, and so I thought, and I was just playing with it as I went. What I did do was I lifted up this one to make my pocket straight away. There was no measuring. I literally, I'm just going to lean over there for a bone folder. There was no measuring. There was no anything. I just folded. The other thing I did was I then folded these ones back to there. Okay. Press that down. Do the same on your other side. So as you can see with these, they were different widths, which is why I folded all this first before I then folded it in half. Okay, so here's my inside pocket. I don't need these ones, so I'm going to trim these ones off. So we'll just cut that straight along that fold. Do the same on the other side, just so that there's not quite so much bulk. She laughs as she shows you what's on the outside of it, because my word, I ended up putting some bulk on the outside, because I literally just went through my drawers and just grabbed all sorts of bits and pieces that I had floating around that I hadn't used for a while. Same with this side. Down here. Right. So I will trim those ones back just to give them a little bit of edge. Oh. Now I'll trim the other side, actually, is where I'm going to trim to. That one's going to go down there. It's early in the morning again. I've got up to do this because I just don't seem to have time these days when I get home from work. Right, so That's that one. That's that one. I'll clear up all those if I can. I'll scrape them out of the way. Put them in the bin. Right. That's, in essence, our original piece. So I'm going to glue those ones down. And guess what? I didn't ink it. I didn't ink it when I did it the other day either. But what it does give us is a pocket that'll open just a little bit better. So it gives us that kind of flap in there which will allow gusset. That's the word I'm after. Wow, Kylie. Wow, my coffee hasn't sunk in yet. I've only had a mouthful, so I might need to have another mouthful. Right. Okay, so that then gives you an opening which will allow it to open further once the glue's dried. We'll push it down. What I did do with this, so this is now going to just fold straight over, and you've then created your little, oh, look at that. I know that the duck is framed beautifully, because I haven't really thought about this one. The duck is framed beautifully, but we're going to cover him up. Nope, we're going to cover him up. It's one of those things, because I want to show you this. Ah, oh, dear Kylie. Right, so here's this one. What we're going to do, I'm attached to the microphone, is we're going to sand it down to give us our edging. So you'll see that this is all been set, and then I've sanded it right down so that it's almost holes in some places. So I've just gone through. It's just a sanding block. I can't find my normal ones. I know they're in there somewhere. This is what happens when you clean up. So I've gone back to my old ones. Okay. Bit of cloth. The other reason why I like my glass mats. So given it that grunged up old look instead of a brand new shiny book page. Okay. It's not wood. You're not worrying about going with the grain or anything else. All we're doing is giving it those markings so that it gives it that lovely old look. Okay. Sorry, there's Bertha. Now, do the same on the inside for this one. Okay, wherever you've got those pictures. I'm putting lace across there, so I'm not overly worried about this bit. I want it to look old. Wipe it down as you go, so that you've got this grunged up look. Okay? Now you can do this as much or as little as you like. You can really get in and do your edges. It's up to you what sort of look you're looking for. But now you can see how this pocket bit's coming through and all. It's just a lovely way to showcase a grunge look, but still have that pretty picture there, if we were going to keep that pretty picture there. We'll just tuck that in. Right, so my inside, of course, all I'm going to do is pop some lace there. So hang on a moment, we'll grab some lace out. We'll grab some lace out. Oh, hang on, what do you... Go. Just do it, Kylie. Just do it. Okay. So we want that one, which is just a fabric glue. Take the tip off that. It's cold, so I'm going to lay that one down while I'm waiting. Ew. Right, there it is. And all I'm going to do is run a bead along that top section when it finally comes out. Should have sat you beside my coffee. Nothing. Alright. Here it comes. Here it comes. Alright, so I just want to bead straight down there. A little bit. Doesn't need to be too much. You know, how many times do we whinge that we've too much glue's come out? So we're going to go the other way. Right. Now I'm going to turn that one over, I'm thinking, because this is one of those laces that sewn both ways. So that then I can just go right to the top of my pocket, like so. Okay. And we'll just trim that bit straight off. Set that aside to dry while we start to work on what we want on the front. I put a pin down somewhere. Did anybody see what I did with the pin? I'll find it later. Or I'll feel it later. Right, that's just going to be set aside to dry. What I want to show you is this finish. Okay, so all we're going to use is our die cutting machine, if you've got a die cutting machine, our embossing folders. You know, we've got lots of embossing folders, but we tend not to get the most out of them these days. Okay, so I just want to show you this. I'm just going to have a real little sip of my coffee. Or a big sip of my coffee. All right. So this is just a piece of, it's a digital from Witchcraft You Do. It's left over from last week's tutorial. So, and I've cut it out into a shape which was just one of these dies. Okay, so I've just used the large one of one of those. So I've got all my dies in my folders like I do with my stamps. I'm not awake. Here we go. Right, sit you there. Sit you there. What I want to do is pull out the big shot. Tucking you away and you away. So here's an embossing folder. This is actually a Christmas vine. It doesn't look at all Christmassy. I have used this for so long, it's not funny. It's an old one. I don't even know if you can get it anymore. Sitting our piece in here somewhere is what we're going to do. But before we do it, I'm going to lift up the top flap. Okay, so with this one, you'll see that the writing is the top way up. So lifting up your top flap, we're going to ink all of this. So you'll feel, I'm trying to get that back into shot. This is the indented part. These are your raised parts. So when it comes through, your leaf will be raised. But what we're going to do is, I'm just going to pick a dark gathered twigs in my distress ink, and I'm just going to rub it over. Okay? Round about where this is going to go. All right, so you can see that on there. If you want it a little bit more lighter, you can always spritz it. So I'm going to sit this one here because I know that's where my covering, my ink covering is. And I'm just going to sit that straight down. So you can see where that ink is now. What I'm going to do is pull out my big shot. which is just here. And I'm going to go sideways so that you can see. I need to get these ones out for a moment. Now, my Big Shot, I know it's one of the newer ones, but I've still got my plates for my older one. And in the older days, that sounds good, they had the two little flaps. You probably won't have the flap, so you'll be looking at just that bit without the flaps. You will still need your plates. Okay, so pop your bottom plate on. Set your embossing folder in there. Go back a bit because I'm going to put the top plate on. Put your top plate on as per normal. Make your normal sandwich and then just roll it through, okay? Only needs to roll through the once. You'll find if you roll back again like we do with our dies, you run the risk of it smudging, shadowing, that sort of thing. So you just want to roll it through the once. Taking this off, grabbing this, putting all those away. I'll put them back on there. And what you'll end up with, I can put you in there. Let me lift this up. Ready? Look at that. So you've got the marks of your ink where you just went round with it, and then you've got the raised ones because they were indented and didn't pick up the ink. It is so easy. Now, your embossing folder, simple. It is just distress ink. We all know distress ink will work, reacts with water, so just give it a little bit of a spritz and wipe it clean. And then it's fine to be used as a normal embossing folder or with any other colour you want to pop with it. Quick and easy, simple, but what a way of using your embossing folders. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know this. There may be some of you out there that don't, which is why I just wanted to bring it up for this one. And then with that sanded look, doesn't it just pick up a treat? So I'm just going to ink the edges on that one just to really highlight. And I'm not going like that. I'm just going round my edges just to lift those and give them real definition as we go round. So almost there. What you'll see now when I sit this down is that it's given it real, see how it's given it that definition? Okay, so this one can be stuck on. You can just stick this on with normal glue stick. It's not that raised in here that your glue stick's not going to adhere it down. So we're just going to use our glue stick, stick that down, making sure you've got all your edges. I know, goodbye, ducky. Need another piece of paper towel because I've got glue all over me again. How unusual, Kylie. Okay. Now, we're just going to I keep losing my voice. It's early in the morning. Right, coffee again. Just don't mind me. Coffee. Now, just going to sit that one under there to stop a little bit of that glare. Decorating. When I went to decorate this, sorry, I move away from the camera, but I forgot that the microphone's just there. Sorry. I tend to, when I decorate, I head to the left-hand side if I've got a page like this. Don't ask me why. It's just what I do. But because this is folded And if I want this as a signature, it puts all that bulk right near the spine. So I've moved it over. Okay. So, and this was a little crocheted flower that I've had, that I purchased like that. I reckon I've had them 10, 15 years. And this was just a brad. So, but the other thing you can do with that is look at your doilies. Now, most of us have got a thing for doilies. See these? You can see where I've already chopped them. Chop them out and you'll get that sort of look. So I have lots of these sorts of ones. Some of these I've tea dyed. These are just the remainders from them. But if you look, now these are all just op shop finds. Okay, things like this, and they just literally chop. And they make wonderful centerpieces and things like that. I don't know why I've got him in there, or that one. Okay, so we're going to use I just pulled a pile out of, I've got a little cane basket that sits under my desk that has the remainders of these where I've been chopping through them and all the rest. So, but I just want to show you, go into those op shops, places like that, find those doilies, and then what I tend to do, if I can pull it out, I have a little container sitting in my lace container drawer, and this is doilies where I've chopped your pieces up. So I have, you know, I'll have this one here and this, and then I'll have it in the tea dyed effect trim, more doilies, bigger doilies. So you can see how I'll see these are these little crocheted flowers, and I have all sorts of funny colours in those. But I have these that are just all my little bits and pieces of doilies, so that I can grab them in a hurry, and use them. I very rarely use the white ones. Most times I will then turn around and tea dye them. So we might have a look at one of those tea dyed ones in that anyway. I'll sit you back over there. But yeah, they're just those moments where you get spare time, and I'll sit here of an evening and I'll chop out doilies, or I will gut books, which is what happened with this one the other night. So we're going to use this doily, and I'm just gonna it's so Australian, isn't it? I'm just going to just trim around that. I want some. All right, so this is just a coffee dyed cheesecloth. I've just got a strip of it, and I tend to just chop as I go, rough it up, give it a hard life. We want to make it look as though it's been sitting around for a while, or sitting in the sewing drawer, or wherever else. Okay, so we're just going to do that sort of thing. Now, again, I popped a brad in there the other day. I was lucky to come across some old fabric brads. If you don't have a brad, you can pop a button in there. Now, I don't know if I've got any of my buttons sitting here at the moment. Should have thought of that one before, shouldn't I? We'll see what we can do. I'll do the rest of this, and we'll see if we can find a button. Now, my little piece up here, again, I wanted to show you something. This was not in that drawer. This was in that drawer. I had, and I've put it on this roll because it was an empty roll. Okay, just strips that have been done, and then I can stamp on them, and they stamp beautifully. So I've tea dyed this, of course, and all I've done, sit you flat, grab a number, go the numbers, so I really like that. But that's what I used in the last one. So let's find a different number to use in this one. I like that. I love all these handwritten ones, but I think he's going to be too big for it. So we'll just go. So my clear ones are Witchcraft Do You Do. And then I've got the date ones in there. Again, I bought them from Witchcraft Do You Do, but they're creative expressions. So, okay, so that'll just sit on there like so. Use a permanent ink or something like that. I'd probably shy away from the distress inks on it. Let's turn it around just in case it gets wet, because then all it'll do is smudge. Now I've just got my stamping foam underneath, and look, it stamps beautifully. Okay. And it's just little things like that. As I said, I was just playing around, and they were literally things that were floating around on my desk. So, put that one back in before I lose it. Wipe that one back down. Where was it? There. Sort those out shortly. Right. So, with this one, I know now when I stuck this one down, because I'm always wary with fabric, even using fabric glue, I don't want it to show through. I have finally finished it. Yay! Just bear with me and I'll grab the next one. So what I'll use is my double-sided tape. I know it's a bit wide to start with, but I will fold it back on itself. Okay. I don't want to use these scissors, Kylie, because these scissors are meant to be staying unsticky. You can tell I'm concentrating. Oh, the concentration. The concentration. Like so. And then where I've got that excess, I'm just going to fold it over. It saves trying to trim it off and getting your scissors too gunky. I just want that in there somewhere like that. Okay. Now, same with this one. I will use my double-sided tape underneath to hold this on, but I just want some bits. Now, what I did with my, a lot of these were, as I said before, bits that I had left over from the last tutorial that I did where I was using the Witchcraft Do You Do digitals. So the, I don't know, I can't even remember what it was now, the little flip thing with the journal inside it. And it just, wow, my head's just way too. So I've used... I'll just shut up now, shall I? All right. So a bit of cream paper, again, that's been gutted from a notebook. Just using an oval. But it's very cream. It is too cream for me. So what I'm going to do is I'll use a little bit of antique linen. Just a little bit. Just to darken that cream up. And then I've got my brushed corduroy one, just to give it a bit of a dirty look, I suppose would be the best way to say. So now, there it is, there it was, and now it's more into my colours. So my gathered twigs literally just around the edges. And I want something on there. Again, I could go for my my numbers that I had there, some of the dates, things like that. But I love these. I collect the wooden ones, but I've got some awesome little plasticky ones. You can see it's got ink all over it. And this just says folio number. So it works, for me, it works a treat. And again, I'll use that deeper pine cone in the Versaclear. And I'll just, like so, sit you in right to the edge. Oh, a bit further down because I don't want it, but it's there. You get the gist. So things like these mean that I can then, way down, isn't it? That's way down. Way down. I don't like that way down. So I'm just going to redo that so that we're further up. Because it means that I can't tuck it in. And I want to be able to tuck it in and around the... Oh, having one of those mornings. What do you call that? Cheesecloth. I'd like to say I'm having one of those mornings, but I know damn well it's menopause. And there's just no words there sometimes. Right, let's try that one again, shall we? And I'm actually going to just move it in front of me so that I can look over and actually see where I'm going this time. So, back with the pine cone. Back with this one, ink it up, make sure you can see all your shiny ink that's on there. Setting that down, and I'm going up this time. Right, give it a little bit of a rock. There we go, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. So it means that now I can tuck that in and you can still see it. So how else do we make our little bits and bobs that will go on all of these? So we'll grab our scraps. And I'm literally just reaching over to my scrap basket. And with our stamps, because you know me, if you don't have your stamps, use your digitals. Use the bits that are left over from your kits. All of those sorts of things, and just decorate around. They don't have to be all from one kit. They can be a little bit from this kit. They can be a little bit from this kit. If you don't have digitals and you do stamps, stamp what it is that you're after. So let's have a look. I might now go some words. I want. You know, any of these sorts of ones? See, this one works a treat because it gives me a longer one. And, oh, that's because I'd put it back, but we'll grab this one now. So something like this. But there is always a way around. You see somebody on YouTube doing something, and we'd love to have the same stamps. We'd love to have the same tools, all of that. It's, well, maybe in your world you can, but I can't. I know that. So, you know, it's making do with what you've got. It's why I like digitals, because they don't cost a lot and I can play with them any way I want. Now, I like that, but I'm going to pop a little bit of a border around it just to make it look like it was a pre-done label. Now, I've got labels over there that I've printed out or have stamped out or whatever else, but let's just make this on our own as it is right now. Okay, so this has now become a label, not just wording on a piece of paper. How's that? So now we've got that, and that wasn't that hard, and it's just a brown pen. So I like that. He can sit in there. He can sit up there like that. I'd like something else in there maybe to go out. So I want some longer wording. Again, let's have a look at what I've got. I've got words that are pre-cut out from everywhere, different bits and pieces, or I've got stamps. I do have a faxed one. And, oh, I've got paid. I've got paid. If I can get it out. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. It's easier just to pull the thing out. All right. And we'll sit you over there. All right, so I've got an old-fashioned paid. Let's try that again on a piece of something. And this is just a scrap piece of digital that I had sitting here. We'll have a look. Now, these are the really old ones. They don't work anywhere near as well as the newer ones. But, and I put a rubber dressing on them when I get them. I want to go up into that top bit. Yeah, so you can see that. Let's see if we can go again. I need to really push down in that bottom corner. There we go. There we go. So they do still work, and they're just beautiful. I love them. But they're my little, you know, that's what I collect. So, and I use them all the time, as you can see. So I'm just going to trim that out so that that's become a label as well. It's not a very good trimmings, but it doesn't have to be, does it? So again, we'll give that one, I'd like a green, but I don't have a green sitting there, so we'll stick with this brown that I've got. All right, so just down. Now, if you wanted to, you could stitch this. And you can see I'm not being awesome here with a straight line, straight line, straight thin line. I want this a little bit, I don't know, dodgy, is that the word? So that it stands out. Okay, so that one's going to sit here, that one's going to sit there, that one's going to sit there. And it's, you know, bingo, it's done. So we'll stick those down. So much for a quick one. This is me. Come on, you should all know that by now. It's never going to be quick with me. Never. So I'll grab, that was my dodgy side. I think I might use my tweezers and put those ones down. So I want that down about there. And I'm just going to work my way up. So this was my next one. Okay. Make sure I'm still in shot for you. Hoping that hasn't stuck too much. A little bit. So this one went down here, didn't it? And there, like so. And then the paid, find a non-gluey bit now. Nothing straight, doesn't have to be. All right. So what I want with this is I'm going to pop a little bit of double-sided tape down there. Move that glue one, which will just hold the cheesecloth in. So I know I've got this area in here because the little doily is going to cover that. Peel that back. 1, 2, and then what I can do, I'm just going to scrunch this guy up a little bit, work out how I want him on that so that it's nice and rough. Sit that down like that. Then I can lift this one back off. Make sense? Now I can put a little bit of glue down on there. You are that way around, like that. Simple as that. We still haven't worked out our centre, have we? Just trying to get that as a centre. Button would be good, but I didn't bring any buttons over. Got some wooden buttons. I've got. What have I got up there? Who would know? Oh, dear. Any of those work? I so need to do some more of these. So let's just sit you down where you're going to go. You're too dark. Oh, mind you. Yeah, see, you're just way too dark. I don't know. I really need to do more of these ones, don't I? Oh, well, here you go. Well, that solved that, didn't it? How's that? Something like that. But I think I want to make it a little bit colour-wise. I've got a TD spray there. We better just move a few things because I'm not known for spraying in the right spots. And I'm going to sit an old piece of paper towel under it. Like that. I don't want it fully covered. I just want to give it just a little bit so that when it goes on, it's not pure white. Does that make sense? That's better. So see how I've only just touched it up? All right. Pretty good. Get rid of that one. Can't quite see where I was. So that means that I'm going to adhere this bit down now. I'm going back with my fabric glue. So I told you, it's surprising what you find on your desk. Well, it is with me. So this one goes that way. Come on. I just want some dollops. I know where I was going to put it because that double-sided tape is under there. Like so. Now what I'm going to do is dollop right in the centre of that bit. If I can. There we go. Like that. And put that rose. Oh, what a mess, Kylie. There we go. And put that rose in the centre of that. How's that? So we've just used bits and pieces that we had floating around. I mainly want to show you what else you can do with your book pages, especially these beautiful big colour plates. So they've given you this background as well, and how to do that. Now, with my other one, I have literally just grabbed a piece of ephemera that I had sitting here, little bit of fabric, little bit of cheesecloth again. Now the inside. Okay. Again, I had some coffee dyed paper that I've stenciled on, and I literally just glued it in down there, trimmed it off there, glued it down, and then they were the bits that were left over sitting on my desk from my Which Craft Do You Do tutorial the other day. And so instead of putting them away, I picked them up and adhered them down there. But you can see with this one, I've done a smaller pocket anyway, because it's literally, I've just folded it over. So this one will be a different size. As I said, there was no size, no measurements. I just folded them over. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've looked at what else is sitting on your desk again. I'm going to try and keep doing these things of what's on our desk and how to use them. Just these odds and sods and bits and pieces. So thanks for joining me again today. And until next time, happy crafting. Thanks, guys. Bye.